Well, Chad, the Sooners say two things are keys to their success this season: their veteran leadership and chemistry. Skip Johnson notes four core leaders on his team: Michael Snyder, John Spikerman, Kendall Pettis, and Will Carson. Well, it's easy for Kendall Pettis to be a leader on this team. This is his fifth year in the Crimson and Cream. I asked him, what's different about this team? How have you guys consistently been able to win marquee games? His answer was pretty simple. He said, we're a family, not just inside the clubhouse, but outside as well. We spend a lot of time together. Chad, that always seems to be the key with successful teams. Veteran leaders who care about the chemistry on and off the field. These guys truly play for each other. Well, Toby, for 6 months, Kendall Pettis' family had this weekend planned to a T. Today is Grandma's birthday, so the original plan was to celebrate yesterday and today in their hometown, Chicago, and then fly out in the morning for Senior Day. Well, when Kendall woke up this morning, he found out that Senior Day got moved to today, so he instantly called Mom and Dad, explained to them the situation, and they were able to fly out on the last flight out of Chicago at 1:30 and arrive just in time for Game 1 and Senior Day. Well, last weekend, John Spikerman laid out in center field to make a spectacular catch, and then he went up to the plate and hit a bomb. Skip Johnson says it's so important to have a guy who can play well on both sides of the ball, and it ended up being a huge momentum shift. It helped the Sooners sweep the Raiders in Lubbock. Well, Wichita State and UC Santa Cruz were in the race for Holmes' commitment. Well, when Green and pitching coach Anthony Claggett saw him on video, they called him and said, your slot's there. We would like you to drop it down. If you do, we think that you'll lead the country in appearances and have a chance to be a pro. Holmes said okay. He committed to Wichita State, dropped his slot, and has been a left-on-left nightmare for hitters.
They're monitoring the review. Listen again.
She's about to knock on there.
She's taking
notes,
very
serious
careful
notes
there.
yeah.
Chad, Skip Johnson says he thinks about his former boss weekly. He taught him so much about how to coach the game, including Garrido's motto Johnson has carried with him to each of his teams: take it one pitch at a time. In Johnson's early years at Texas, Garrido taught him how to simplify the process to players, how to stay in rhythm, and to just throw the ball at the target. Skip Johnson says that's really the genius in the game, to make sure you're present in that one pitch. It's 100% of what you got to get to the next pitch on the mound. Chad, it is clearly evident that Garrido means a lot to Johnson and has made a huge impact on his coaching career. Chad, it's the news that Sooner fans have been eager to hear. The return of veteran center fielder John Spikerman is making his first start since March 16th. Spikerman had hamate surgery in March and has been slowly preparing for his return. He had his first appearance at the plate on Sunday against BYU. Well, Oklahoma's ecstatic to have him back, to say the very least. He's hitting .389 on the year. And let's not forget about his explosive speed out in center field. Kendall Pettis says that he can run down to the left field line or down to the right field line. It's just good to have him back. It's almost like being a therapist, so to speak, reading their body language, knowing if they're a guy who needs motivation or if they're a guy who needs to be calmed down a bit. Carmichael takes a lot of pride in understanding how to take care of his pitchers. He has a notebook of every single pitcher on the staff that says what they do, what they like, what they don't like, what helps them, and what doesn't. Keep in mind, Oklahoma's used 18 pitchers so far this season. His preparation is remarkable. He spends as much time preparing as the coaching staff. Carmichael's learned really early in his career how to properly manage his staff. Those responsibilities on top of this offensive power is the reason why the Sooners have big hopes and expectations for Easton Carmichael. It comes with the process. It takes some time, and I don't have to worry about not performing because I have 8 guys on the field that have my back and can pick me up. Chad, if that doesn't say that he's a veteran leader on this team, I don't know what does. Coach Thompson shared with us that fifth-year senior Cole Posey had never played first base in his entire collegiate career. On Thursday, before the Incarnate Word Series, Coach Thompson was trying to see if Posey could play the position. He was taking ground balls, trying to turn double plays, and just catch the ball at first base. Well, during the series, his teammates Mason Greer and Will Pendergrass, who were playing first the majority of the season, started coaching Posey up and giving him feedback. Guys, Coach Thompson has some really selfless players. You don't see that everywhere. They're a tight-knit group who pushes each other to be the best.